Hello there and welcome to the News Tonight, your one stop for the day's top stories from India and across the world. I'm Tracy Shilchi and here are the headlines. Rajya Sabha passes legislations to enable the rollout of the goods and services tax regime on the 1st of July. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley calls it a historic step towards tax reform. Opposition condemns the incident of alleged cow vigilantism in Rajasthan's Alwar district in Rajya Sabha. Government denies media reports even as the chair directs it to apprise the House about the real facts. Setback to Kejriwal government in Delhi. Three-member Shunglu committee appointed by the former Lieutenant General Najib Jung finds it guilty of what it calls gross abuse of power. Opposition demands Chief Minister's resignation. The Reserve Bank of India opts for status quo on key rates, projects inflation at 4.5% for the first half of 2017-18 and says that Uttar Pradesh government's farm loan waiver undermines honest credit culture. And Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to arrive in Delhi for summit-level talks with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi tomorrow. Talks to focus on Teesta water sharing and agreements in various fields to be signed during the visit. Top story this evening. Rajya Sabha today passed the 4 bills related to the GST rollout. The bills include the Central Goods and Services Tax Bill 2017, the Integrated Goods and Services Tax Bill 2017, and the Goods and Services Tax Bill 2017, along with the Union Territory Goods and Services Tax Bill 2017. Summing up the journey of the GST legislation, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that there was no hesitation in conceding that it was not a bill for which one person or one government should take credit for.
The Rajya Sabha on Thursday passed 4 supplementary legislations that will enable the government to roll out the landmark Goods and Services Tax Bill on July 1st. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has called the legislation a historic step towards tax reform. He said in the spirit of federalism, the GST Council has given equal tax authority to the states.
This bill, I have no hesitation in conceding that is not a bill for which one government or one person or any individual should take a credit. It's a collective property in which states, political parties, central governments, successive governments have all contributed to it.
The Finance Minister said that the GST Council with all the 29 states and 2 union territories has currently excluded areas like petroleum, alcohol and real estate from GST. He also said agricultural tax will remain out of its purview.
On alcohol, the states were not in agreement. On real estate, and therefore while the GST experiment succeeds, hopefully one day petroleum will come into it. Once the states decide for which you may have to change the constitution, you will then decide about alcohol. About real estate. The states had decided that they didn't want to bring it in.
The opposition raised the issue of trying to bypass the Rajya Sabha by bringing the legislation as a money bill. The MPs expressed concern over fears of tax inspector Raj. They also expressed doubts that it could increase inflation.
अगर ऑफेंस करते हैं तो पनिशेबल होना चाहिए, लेकिन अगर नया एक प्रोविजन आ रहा है जो इतने वर्षों पहली बार आ रहा है जिसको समझने में समय लगेगा, तो ऐसा ना हो कि ये छोटे-छोटे व्यापारी वो इसमें उलझ करके और अरेस्ट भी हो जाएं और डिटेन्ड भी हो जाएं और कंपाउंडिंग भी जब हो सकती है.
There is certainly going to be at least a 2-2.5% increase in taxes across the board in the country, which will also have to be handled very carefully, because these pressures should also not lead to loss of demand or consumption, and that would ultimately affect economic activity in the country.
That when you bring the GST bill, do not bring it as a money bill. Bring it as a bill whereby we can also, the Council of States, because it concerns the federal structure of our constitution, the Council of States will also have its say, and its wisdom will also be taken into account by the government before it brings in any sort of legislations.
मतलब है कि जो अनरजिस्टर्ड डीलर्स हैं, जिनके 20 लाख से नीचे आमदनी है, जो रजिस्टर नहीं करते, उनसे कोई खरीदेगा ही नहीं. क्योंकि वो परचेस टैक्स क्यों दे? वो तो उन लोगों से खरीदेगा जिसका जो इनपुट क्रेडिट उसको मिल सके तो आगे वो बेच दे, तो वो परचेस टैक्स क्यों देगा? So this legislation is against the MSME sector also.
Commissioner or any officer authorized by him may undertake audit of any registered person. So commissioner will have the power of audit, even special audit, clause 66. What about the CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General, which is a constitutional body?
How are you going to allow that government to continue with those welfare schemes, social security schemes for the people? If you move towards this common tax system, then the other question is Finance Commission. What is Finance Commission is going to do?
Many of the amendments on these 4 bills of union, state, union territory and integrated GST were withdrawn, while the amendments submitted by TMC could not be passed. The Lok Sabha passed these bills on March 29th. The government wants to implement GST from July 1st. After it is implemented, GST will replace all taxes such as excise, VAT, sell tax and service tax. 4 rates in the GST system have been fixed at 5, 12, 18 and 28%. The next meeting of the GST Council on 18th and 19th May is expected to decide the rates for various goods and services. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
For the second consecutive day, opposition parties led by the Congress demanded that the centre come up with a nationwide policy to address the plight of farmers across the country. They also highlighted the plight of farmers from Telangana and Maharashtra. Here's a look at what took place during Zero Hour on Thursday.
Raising the issue during Zero Hour, Congress's Renuka Chaudhary sought the centre's intervention and support in the crisis faced by Telangana chili farmers. During the current year, chili production has increased 14%, which pushed down prices by over 50%.
Today, 1 quintal of chili, which feeds the entire country, Khammam and Warangal chili is famous. 1 quintal of chili is for the princely sum of 6,000 rupees. As of yesterday, it was 5,000 rupees. And it is hopelessly inadequate for our farmer to recover their costs.
Meanwhile, Rajni Patil of the Congress raised the issue of farmer suicide in Maharashtra and demanded loan waiver on the lines of Uttar Pradesh.
जिस तरह से यूपी में उन्होंने किसानों को 36,000 करोड़ की राहत दी है, महाराष्ट्र में 30,000 करोड़ लगते हैं ऋण मुक्ति होने के लिए। किसानों को अगर सहारा देना है, किसानों को अगर मदद करनी है, तो किसानों को ऋण मुक्ति देना बहुत आवश्यक है।
Through another zero-hour mention, senior Congress leader Anand Sharma accused the government of tampering with the legacy and history of the freedom movement. But the government quickly countered the allegations leveled by Sharma.
This government has every right to establish a museum for any of its leaders. But they cannot tamper with the historic legacy of India's freedom movement. Only 20% of the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library is dedicated to Jawaharlal Nehru, and rest is entirely dedicated to the Indian freedom movement.
केवल जो है वो कुर्बानी केवल नेहरू गांधी परिवार तक सीमित नहीं है, इसलिए जो है और देश के तमाम लोग जिन्हें आप भूल गए थे, उन नामों को जिनको कि आपने इतिहास के काले अक्षरों में लिख दिया था, उनको हम स्वर्णिम अक्षरों में ला करके और इतिहास की सच्चाई को पूरी दुनिया को बता रहे हैं।
Meanwhile, Nadimul Haq of the TMC expressed concern over the falling interest rate on PPF as well as post office savings schemes, and JDU member Harivansh expressed concern over breach of security of President Pranab Mukherjee during his recent visit to Jharkhand.
It is causing hardship to senior citizens, especially as their savings are being hugely hit. There are apprehensions that these rates will fall more sharply in the future as they are linked to the market.
कि राष्ट्रपति जी की यात्रा में इतनी बड़ी चूक हुई, हमारी व्यवस्था की क्षमता और ताकत क्या है कि आज 4 दिनों बाद भी एक युवा पकड़ा नहीं जा सका है, न किसी वरिष्ठ अफसर को अकाउंटेबल बनाया गया है, यह गंभीर चूक है।
Issues of ordnance factories and special package for Bihar also found mention during Zero Hour on Thursday. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The government on Thursday denied in the upper house that cow vigilantes assaulted 5 men in Rajasthan's Alwar district, in which 1 man lost his life. Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi clarified that lawlessness would not be condoned and appealed that restraint should be practiced on this sensitive issue. The opposition, however, upped the ante against the government, while the chair instructed the centre to get a detailed report from the Home Ministry.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Madhusudan Mistry has given
Alleged cow vigilantism in Rajasthan's Alwar resonated in the upper house on Thursday, triggering widespread condemnation from the opposition, demanding for a government crackdown on such vigilante groups. Leading the government's defense, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi dismissed the version of events of the killing of a man by cow vigilantes. Naqvi added that such media reports have already been rejected by the state government.
जो पर्टिकुलर स्टेट की बात कर रहे हैं उस तरह की कोई भी घटना जिस तरह की घटना पेश की जा रही है ऐसी कोई घटना जमीन पर नहीं हुई है एक चीज दूसरी चीज जिस मीडिया रिपोर्ट की बात की जा रही है उसका प्रदेश सरकार ने पहले ही खंडन किया है.
Earlier, Madhusudan Mistry raised the issue during 0 hour and tendered the notice under Rule 267, seeking a suspension of business to discuss the issue. Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad also slammed the cow vigilantes, thrashing people on the pretext of cow protection.
Sir, it is a complete breakdown of the constitutional machinery in a state. मैं मांग करता हूँ राजस्थान की सरकार को बर्खास्त करना चाहिए.
The Indian media has taken the notice and the minister said this is all wrong.
अभी बैठे.
So ill-informed the government. So insensitive.
Sit down.
I haven't come across such an insensitive government.
Now.
The chair rejected the notice under Rule 267. However, amid contradictory statements about the alleged incident by the opposition and the government, the chair directed the government to apprise the House about the facts.
For the chair, two versions have been brought to my notice. If the incident is happened, that is serious. But if incident which is not happened has been said here as if it has happened, that is also serious. Therefore, I want to know the correct position. I am asking the minister to convey to the Home Minister to inquire and get a report to the House. I want to know the truth of it.
The incident occurred on the 1st of April when 5 people returning from a fair in Jaipur after purchasing a few cows were beaten brutally, allegedly by a group of cow vigilantes. Pehlu Khan, a 55-year-old man, succumbed to his injuries later. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. The Shiv Sena has threatened that it will not attend the April 10th NDA meeting if the flying ban on its MP Ravindra Gaikwad is not revoked. The issue also resounded in Lok Sabha as Shiv Sena members created uproar against Gaikwad's flying ban. The House saw 3 adjournments on the matter.
Lok Sabha today witnessed chaos as Shiv Sena members, including Union Minister Anant Gite, surrounded Civil Aviation Minister Ashok Gajapati Raju over grounding of its MP Ravindra Gaikwad by domestic airlines. This after Raju refused any preferential treatment to Gaikwad, saying the issue was not about an MP but a passenger.
Aircrafts are machines where people fly, and safety is important. And safety will not be compromised.
However, Home Minister Rajnath Singh assured Shiv Sena MPs about a solution on the issue will be provided soon.
और बातचीत के बाद हम इस नतीजे पर पहुंचे हैं कि हमारे सिविल एविएशन मिनिस्टर जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं इन लोगों के साथ बातचीत करके जल्दी से जल्दी इसका एमिकेबल सॉल्यूशन वो निकालेंगे.
Earlier in the day, seeking removal of the ban imposed on him, Gaikwad tendered an apology to Parliament but insisted that he owed no apology to the airline officials.
उन्होंने मेरी कॉलर पकड़कर ढकेलने की कोशिश की. इस दुर्व्यवहार और अपमानित करने वाले बर्ताव से मुझे गुस्सा आया और मैंने उसे ढकेल दिया. देश की संसद और संसदों के खिलाफ अभद्र भाषा का इस्तेमाल किया गया, गाली गलौज की, इसके वीडियो क्लिपिंग उपलब्ध है. जांच किए बिना एयर इंडिया ने सीधा जो पनिश किया और सारे एयरलाइंस ने उनकी यात्रा पर जो बंदी लगाई, ये कौन सा न्याय है?
Gaikwad attended the House for the first time after last month's incident in which he allegedly assaulted a senior Air India official. While the airlines has lodged an FIR against Gaikwad, the Sena MP has denied any wrongdoing and has accused Air India officials of misbehaving with him. With Ravindra Singh, Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Reserve Bank of India kept the repo rate unchanged in its first bi-monthly policy for the financial year 2017-18 on Thursday. It has, however, increased the reverse repo rate. The RBI also hiked its outlook for GDP growth to 7.4% in the current fiscal from 6.7% last year. Here are more details. No reprieve for borrowers as the central bank voted in favour of a status quo in rates on Thursday. The repo rate at which the RBI lends to banks was retained at 6.25%, as was the cash reserve ratio at 4%. The CRR is the amount of deposits that banks park with the RBI. The reserve repo, or the rate at which banks park surplus money with the central bank, was raised by 25 basis points to 6%. The RBI projected inflation at 4.5% for the first half of 2017-18 and 5% for the second half of the year.
The first line of defense were variable reverse rate repos of varying tenors. The incremental CRR functioned as a placeholder till the enhancement of the ceiling on securities under the market stabilization scheme to ₹6 trillion by the government. This enabled the withdrawal of the incremental CRR within a fortnight of its institution.
However, responding to the Uttar Pradesh government's decision to waive farmer loans worth over 36,000 crore rupees earlier this week, RBI Governor Urjit Patel said that loan waivers undermine an honest credit culture and entailed transfer of taxpayers' money.
Waivers engender moral hazard. It also entails, at the end of the day, transfer from taxpayers to borrowers. If, on account of this, overall government borrowing goes up, yields on government bonds also are impacted. Thereafter, it can also lead to the crowding out of private borrowers, as higher government borrowing can lead to an increasing cost of borrowing for others. I think we need to create a consensus such that loan waiver promises are eschewed.
The Sensex and Nifty ended slightly lower after the RBI kept the repo rate unchanged. Sensex ended 47 points lower at 29,927, while Nifty slipped 3 points to settle at 9,262. However, real estate stocks gained on the back of RBI's decision to allow banks to invest in real estate investment trusts. The RBI also sounded bullish on growth prospects on the back of several domestic and global factors. It expects consumer demand held back by demonetization to bounce back and revive economic activity in cash-intensive sectors. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal had a setback on Thursday when the three-member Shunglu Committee report alleged irregularities in 1.5 years of his government in the national capital. Congress and BJP are now demanding Kejriwal's resignation over the issue. Gross abuse of power is the verdict of the three-member Shunglu Committee on the Arvind Kejriwal government. The panel, set up by former Lieutenant General Najib Jung, reviewed 404 Delhi government files. The 269-page report red flags many decisions like the land allotment to the Aam Aadmi Party for its party office and the appointment of Minister Satyendra Jain's daughter as Mission Director of Delhi State Health Mission.
सत्येंद्र जैन की बिटिया को रिपोर्ट आप देख लीजिए, उसमें उनको कंसल्टेंट का काम दिया गया था, एडवाइजर बनाया गया था, वो जो है वो कम से कम उनके अधिकार में तो नहीं था.
The Congress is now demanding Kejriwal's resignation and a CBI probe into the matter.
इनके एडवाइजर्स को देखा जाए तो 42 लोगों को बगैर इनके एंटीसीडेंट्स वेरीफाई करे मिनिस्टर्स के साथ लगाए गए हैं. 29 लोगों को दिल्ली डायलॉग कमीशन DDC के अंदर डाला गया और इनकी तनख्वाहें 80,000 रुपए से लेकर के 1.5 लाख रुपया प्रति माह.
The report alleges that the Kejriwal government misused its power to benefit relatives of government functionaries. It says Kejriwal issued an order in April 2015 directing officers to take decisions without consulting the Lieutenant Governor. Rules were flouted to appoint Satyendra Jain's daughter, Soumya Jain, as an advisor of the Mohalla clinics. The decision to allot land to AAP for a party office at 203 Rose Avenue should be considered null and void. The allotment of an official residence to the chairperson of the Delhi Commission for Women, Swati Maliwal, is questionable. In the same manner, appointments of some individuals as advisors to the government without LG's concurrence also ignored procedures. Defending its decisions, the Delhi government dismissed the report as mere mudslinging.
डिसीजन लेने की बात है, सरकार का अधिकार है डिसीजन लेने का, सरकार का कर्तव्य है डिसीजन लेने का. और 4 अगस्त 2016 से पहले जो संविधान था उसके हिसाब से काम किया गया है। 4 अगस्त को हाईकोर्ट ने कुछ चेंजेस किए हैं संविधान के अंदर, उन्होंने 239A को मानने से मना कर दिया है।
The BJP is also demanding Kejriwal's resignation, saying that the report has exposed the Aam Aadmi Party government.
आम आदमी पार्टी के पास कहने के लिए कुछ नहीं है। दोषियों के खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। इस पूरे मामले की CBI जांच होनी चाहिए और दोषियों के खिलाफ क्रिमिनल प्रोसीडिंग्स जो है वो चलाई जानी चाहिए।
Coming ahead of the MCD polls, the report is a major setback to the Aam Aadmi Party. Jung set up the committee after the Delhi High Court ruled in April 2016 that the then Lieutenant Governor is the administrative head of Delhi. The court held that all decisions taken by its ministers must be communicated to the LG. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will reach Delhi on Friday for bilateral summit-level talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A large business and official delegation, including ministers and other senior officials, are accompanying her. Now, during her visit, Hasina is expected to meet President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari, and Congress leaders Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Ghulam Nabi Azad, and Mallikarjun Kharge. Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, is also expected to meet Sheikh Hasina.
Expectations are riding high on the visit of Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The Teesta water sharing issue will be the most important issue in both her one-to-one meeting with Prime Minister Modi as well as delegation-level talks that follow.
At the working level, both the government of India and the government of Bangladesh have been working very hard on the implementation of decisions taken during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Dhaka in June 2015. We expect that during this visit, we will be able to take stock of this progress that has been made on implementation.
Both India and Bangladesh are enjoying probably the best phase in their relationship in terms of mutual understanding and cooperation. More than a dozen agreements in areas of economy and trade, energy and security and defense are expected to be signed during Hasina's visit. Increased connectivity and people-to-people contacts will be the major thrust behind the talks of both countries.
To sign over 20 agreements. These are meaningful agreements in ICT, in science and technology, cyber security, defense, development partnership, trade and investment, shipping, bus services, mass media, and so on.
With Bangladesh in dire need of external assistance for economic growth, and China trying to increase its influence by offering aid worth billions of dollars, while India has clearly conveyed that it can't match China with such heavy loans, it can compensate with connectivity and mutual understanding. It'll be interesting to see how things will pan out at the summit and how far both countries move on Teesta and on other issues of relevance.
Though there will be no agreement on Teesta water issues, but Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, is coming and she will be meeting both the Prime Ministers. So this gives hope that India-Bangladesh relations will be better in coming future. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Prasanta in Delhi.
And now look at what else is making news across the nation in Nationwide. A total of 1,796 nominations have been rejected for the upcoming Delhi municipal polls due to errors of different kind. That's nearly 40% of the total nominations filed for the 272 wards of the 3 municipal corporations. Nomination papers of 4 BJP candidates were also cancelled. Elections are to be held on the 23rd of April and counting will take place on the 26th. Delhi Commission for Women Chief Swati Maliwal appeared before a court on Thursday over the issue of irregularities in appointments to the Women's Rights Panel. DCW is under the scanner for arbitrarily appointing 85 people last year. The Anti-Corruption Branch had filed a charge sheet under the Prevention of Corruption Act. Former Goa Congress MLA Vishwajit Rane will join the BJP today. Rane had resigned from the Congress after absenting himself from the House when Parrikar sought the trust vote. BJP sources said that Rane could soon be inducted into the Manohar Parrikar-led coalition cabinet. The BJP celebrated its 37th Foundation Day today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, through a tweet, urged party workers to continue working for the people of the country. Modi, along with party President Amit Shah and other senior leaders, visited BJP headquarters in New Delhi to pay tribute to party ideologue Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. The CBI has booked former Chief Minister of Haryana Bhupinder Singh Hooda for alleged re-allotment of a plot to Associated Journals Limited in Panchkula in 2005. The FIR also names chairman and other senior officials of the Haryana Urban Development Authority. Hooda has been booked for criminal conspiracy, criminal breach of trust and cheating and misuse of official position. And now let's turn our focus to international news and get you some updates in Global Buzz. South Korea successfully test-fired a ballistic missile. This comes a day after the North fired its own ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan, which analysts dubbed a warning ahead of a China-US summit. The South plans to deploy the new missile this year following further tests to determine its reliability. Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered Filipino troops to be deployed on unoccupied South China Sea islands and reefs claimed by Manila. This move could provoke rival claimants, including Beijing. Duterte also said that he will be visiting the areas on the 12th of June to mark Philippines' Independence Day. Thousands of protesters, mainly students, rallied for the third day in Belgrade to protest against the overwhelming victory of Prime Minister Alexander Vučić in a presidential election. The protesters also gathered in front of the Serbian parliament, blowing whistles and chanting slogans demanding an end to dictatorship. Demands were also posted on social media to dismiss the election commission. And finally, in sports and in tennis, Leander Paes has been dropped from the Indian team for the Asia Oceania Davis Cup tie against Uzbekistan to be held in Bengaluru from the 7th to the 9th of April. Rohan Bopanna will pair with Sriram Balaji in the second round Davis Cup tie in Group 1. Both the players will feature in the doubles match against Farukh Dostov and Sanjar Faizaev. Paes, along with fellow doubles star Bopanna, was one of the two reserve players in the reckoning following Yuki Bhamri's pullout. Paes has been dropped from the Davis Cup team for the first time in 27 years due to his form. That's all we have for you in the news tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.